The marquee fixture of the day saw current holders Chelsea take on Juventus in Turin. With Max Allegri back at the club, Juventus have taken a pragmatic approach again. This tactical battle saw Juve come out on top, winning 1-0. Juve were missing key attacking players Morata and Dybala through injury. Juve lined up in a 4-4-2 that could also be seen as a 4-3-3, with Cuadrado joining the attack. The front two were key in this victory. Chelsea reverted to their standard 3-4-2-1 after the loss to City at the weekend. We can see from the average positions how deep Juventus were as they looked to protect their goal and hit Chelsea on the break. And we can see for Chelsea that all players except Thiago Silva in Juve's half. Juventus allowed Chelsea to have the majority of possession in this game. Chelsea would usually look to build out from the keeper, with short passes to their centre-backs. As Juventus sat back in a narrow mid-block, it allowed Chelsea to get the ball to their wing-backs when starting attacks. It was only here that Juve would press Chelsea with the attackers dropping into a wide position while the Juventus midfielders remained solid in the middle. Juventus allowed the Chelsea defenders to push up so high and join the midfield that we often saw Chelsea in a 1-4-5 formation, as Juventus focused on preventing balls into Lukaku and their box by sitting back in a 4-4-2. As we said before, Juventus wanted to stop balls being played into Chelsea's pivots. So to stop this, a Juventus attacker would press the player with the ball and Juventus's midfield pairing would split, with Locatelli staying back to protect the back four and Bentancur moving forward to press the spare pivot. It was then the job of the wide attackers to move out and press the wing back when they got the ball, with the two Juve forwards sitting back and blocking passes into Chelsea's pivots. The Chelsea wide centre-backs were able to bring the ball up to the midfield and try to build play. But it was here that they encountered a problem, as Juventus were perfectly positioned to cover the channels with their fullback and wide midfielder, meaning Chelsea could not overload them. This would often mean the ball would be played into central areas, but with Locatelli slotting into defence, the other centre-back could man-mark Lukaku. With Azpilicueta and Alonso on the wings, they were unable to beat the defender and progress. If Chelsea had started with skillful wingers, they might have been more lucky in this area. As well as stopping Chelsea using the wings, Juventus also realised that they had to stop Lukaku being influential. So whenever the ball came into the final third, Juventus would get a defender tight to him and prevent him from laying off balls to on-running midfielders. Juventus didn't have much possession, as Chelsea dominated in that area, 73% to 27%, and also with shots. But when Juventus had possession, they would look to get their fullbacks forward and their wingers pushing up alongside the two forwards as they formed a 2-4-4. But instead of getting crosses into the box, Juventus would take a more direct route to goal. With the fullback overlapping, it allows the space for the player with the ball to run directly at the defence, creating an opportunity at goal. A key feature of this Juventus side is that they are not afraid of running with the ball, once they have opened up space. Cuadrado and Chiesa have the pace and skill to trouble any defence. Without a target man in their team today, Juventus preferred playing out from the keeper. Here Ziyech has moved infield to cover the ball into the pivot, but this has left the wing exposed as Alonso moves up. From the keeper, the two centre-backs remain deep and the fullback pushes forward to join the midfield. One of the pivots, usually Locatelli, stays back to cover the centre-backs. Cuadrado moves up on the right and Rabiot tucks in as Juventus form a 2-3-2-3 shape. Second half subs saw Chelsea shift their formation slightly. Chalobah came on and played as a single pivot, while Loftus-Cheek played alongside Kovacic in an attacking duo. Chilwell's pace allowed him to play higher, and on the other side Hudson-Odoi provided more attacking threat than Azpilicueta. This was a positive for Chelsea as it often saw more Juventus players trying to stop the threat of Hudson-Odoi, and this in turn opened up more space for Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic to get into the penalty area. With Hudson-Odoi covering the wide areas and Loftus-Cheek covering the inside half areas, it allowed Havertz to move inside and play a central striker alongside Lukaku. Chelsea though couldn't find an equalising goal and have suffered 2 defeats in a row without scoring. Have opposition managers figured out a way to beat Tuchel's tactics, or is it just a blip in form? What do you think?